Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in once again to the dungeon of the Doctors of Doom Fantasy Football Podcast, where I am your host, Alex the Shark Sparks, and joining me back again, my co-host and cohort partner in crime, Mitch the Fish Black, and the producer, Vinny just Seaweed Santucci. Welcome in. Hope you all enjoy Spelunkers. Say hello to all the ladies out there, fellas.
Hello. Wait, we
Yeah,
decided on
and now that you've said hello to the
Spelunkers?
ladies, Mitch, Vinny, go ahead and say hello to all the men, because that's not what you want to do.
Hey.
All right. All right, boys. Yeah,
I
so,
didn't know we had it. Good news is Mitch said hello to 0 listeners. So it looks
hey-o.
like, hey, actually, I don't know if that's a good thing.
Uh, anyway,
It was
yeah,
probably because of our WNBA rant last
welcome
week.
back, guys, for those for
Or
those
2 weeks
listening.
ago.
Last week we were a little short-staffed because of some communication issues, but today I'll have you know that everyone was on time. Uh, we only started a couple minutes past the normal start time, and that's because Mitch told us he needed a minute whenever I was ready. I said I was ready, then he said he was ready, even though he needed some time. So a lot of back and forth, but we're here now. All three of us are here, but we're going to try to do something a little different today. We've been talking a lot about football, and we still will. It's a football podcast, obviously. But, some of the feedback from our listeners, well, Brake, who isn't actually a listener, but he gave feedback anyway, was that we talked too much about football. So today we're going to try to do something a little different because we did a ton of NFL free agency, and quite frankly, we're a little bit of a dead period right now. Free agency's cooled off a little bit. Draft is going to pick up next month. So, it's a good time to branch out. So let's try to do something that's not sports related. So taking a break from sports, let's talk about golf. So, Vinny, you had brought up a golf item that you wanted to discuss, so take it away.
Yeah, so every year, I don't know if people are fans of the Masters or not, but the Masters is, the Wimbledon of golf, the Super Bowl of golf, so to speak.
I
And
like
so
how
every
I like how
year
your
the
first go to was to call it the Wimbledon and not the Super Bowl, like as if our listeners are
well,
more likely to know Wimbledon than the Super Bowl.
I feel like people know Wimbledon more than the Masters. I don't know why. It just kind of has this air like, oh, it's the grass court. It's like everybody
Right, like
knows like that's like the
you could
upper
have used so
echelon
many
of
things. It's
tennis.
it's the World Series, the World Cup. You know what I mean? Like so many things you could have used. And you're like, no, I'm using Wimbledon.
Uh, Maybe like the Premier League champion. I don't know. It's hard to explain a sport when they've got like four big tournaments and everybody tries to say like one's better than the other or not, So it's like pick one and like there should always be a one. There shouldn't be four majors. It should be like, okay, this one is the best. And then we have majors that are also important, but there should be like a best, right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe that's an issue I didn't know I had with golf until
yeah. Well,
just
and there's
listening.
also, I mean,
Uh,
since we're ranting on golf, there's also the Players Championship, which is not one of the four majors. So like that's like a fifth tournament. You know what I mean?
exactly. Or the Indian Wells of golf. See what I did there? I don't know anybody that knows where we grew up. We grew up in Indian Wells area, so Palm
I was
Springs
gonna
area.
say, ain't nobody in this
There's a
chat
big
grew up in
tennis.
Indian Wells.
There's a big tennis tournament, and they call it the fifth major. So the Players is the fifth major. So which means that it's not a major, but they call it that. Anyways, so if you win the Masters, which is again the penultimate thing to win. If you win it, you get to pick the dinner. So it's a big thing. The only people that are allowed to go to this dinner are past champions. Obviously, a lot of champions, as people age, the numbers dwindle. So if you're a multiple winner, it only counts as one. So past champions go to this dinner, and the winner from the previous year is able to put on the menu. So we have historically awful selections. Let me pull this up really quick. Is the infamy of Bubba Watson. So Bubba Watson is, I'm pretty sure he's just a good old little Georgia boy.
I was
Had
about to
one
say,
of the
I bet
all-time
this list is gonna be similar to what I might pick. But yeah, let's see what Bubba had.
one of the all-time worst menus, where he served an appetizer of Caesar salad, a main course of grilled chicken, green beans, mashed potatoes, corn, macaroni and cheese, and cornbread, and his dessert was a confetti cake and vanilla ice cream. Um, so basically, it's like a meal prepper's dream. Everybody in the world probably has that 3 times a week, and he served it for this like exclusive meal. Where Scotty Scheffler, if you watch sports or know sports and don't know the name Scotty Scheffler, that's pretty sad. He's kind of like our modern day Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods kind of
Well,
approaching
I mean,
on
you
that.
keep
So
calling it
his
sports. I mean, if you watch golf, I don't know about sports, but if you watch golf.
I mean,
For those
it's
who don't
sports.
watch golf, he's the guy that got arrested for like having the cop grab onto his car and then he drove him down the street when there was that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
For,
There it
for
is.
a guy who has that story, his dessert's pretty basic.
So his dinner is cheeseburger sliders, Surf Scotty style, whatever that means. Appetizers of firecracker shrimp with Thai chili and sriracha. He's got Papa Chef's meatball and ravioli bites. His first course is a Texas style chili, and then a main course you have a choice of a wood-fired cowboy ribeye or black and red fish, served with mac cheese, jalapeno creamed corn, soy glazed Brussels sprouts, chipotle lime, roasted sweet potatoes, and a dessert of warm chocolate chip and skillet cookie. So, an epic menu. And last but not least, I just want to give a shout out to Hideki Matsuyama, who won a few years ago, who probably has the all-time greatest Masters dinner menu. But I think that's part of the aspect is I'm not sure that Alex would necessarily be 100% down for this, or Adam, who wants to hear more about football, would be 100% down. So he served as an appetizer assorted sushi, sashimi, and nigiri, yakitori skewers, a miso glazed black cod with a dashi broth, A5 Wagyu ribeye with mixed mushrooms and vegetables, and a ponzu sauce, and then for dessert, a Japanese strawberry shortcake. So that's kind of like, to everybody who kind of watches golf, that set the bar. But I thought it'd be fun to say, one, if you've ever heard of this, and two, what would your menu be if you won the Masters?
I mean, yeah. So let me start with obviously I've never heard of this. I mean, okay, it's not even the sport; it's a dinner event. So my question is, before I give my menu, so presumably this is the menu before this year because he won last year. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, I believe they do it on the Tuesday or the Wednesday.
Okay, I was just
before,
going to
and
ask
it's a big deal. Like,
how close are we
I think
to the actual event?
we are 2 or 3 weeks away at this
No.
point.
When this meal happens, I mean, because there's some strategy
Yeah.
involved, right? Like,
That's what I was gonna
is
say.
this the kind
That's
of
why I
thing
think
where I can,
the one where
maybe mess with some stomachs of my competition? If this is on a
That's what
Wednesday, the
when
tournament
you
starts
Oh
on a
yeah,
Thursday.
no, it's April 8th, and I believe the tournament starts the 9th or 10th.
Yeah, so when you were
10th through
criticizing
the
the guy for
13th.
having a generic one, he's just playing nice to all the other golfers. Like, who doesn't want like chicken and some vegetables the night before you're about to golf at the Masters? He's just playing to to be nice. That's what I was saying. You could go with something crazy wild like all foreign foods, like some
Oh yeah, absolutely. Getting you
Japan.
some crazy Indian dish that's gonna light you up on the inside and have you riding the toilet for the next 4 days. And I'm gonna be sure not
Just
to eat
straight
any of
up
it.
collect everybody's allergen menu and purposely give them everything from that list.
100%.
Like, does anybody have any dietary restrictions? And then
Like
just
blowfish
hammer 'em with
that's
said
not properly
dietary?
prepared can kill you. I mean, I don't want to go that far, but like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna lay it on them. Okay, so so obviously me, I would go strategic. But if I'm not going strategic, if I'm just going like for food,
Your actual dish, yeah.
then yeah,
Like,
then
say you wanted to.
I
your
think you
favorite
got to
food,
stick true to who you are. Like, I mean, I was gonna say maybe I go with Bubba's, but no, his is way too boring. Like you don't have to be fancy. Like the golf is all about making people fancy. Like, oh yes, we must play while wearing our slacks and our collared shirts. Like, if you're a sport, you shouldn't be wearing slacks and a collared shirt, right? Give me a t-shirt, give me shorts. I want to be out there grinding away, right? So, if this is just a meal that I want to enjoy, but I'm not having to pay for it, right? I'm going to pick stuff that I really enjoy eating, but not because it's super fancy and weird necessarily, right? Like just something that tastes really good that's a little on the pricier side. I'm not a big steak person, but like I love getting steak at Angelo's, like getting a really nice filet, something that costs, nice filet from a steakhouse can run you $50, right? Like, okay, well, if I don't have to pay for it, I get a nice filet here for dinner, for example, something like that, right? Or if I am paying for it, then we're all getting something cheap like a cheeseburger because I ain't going to pay. You're all going to McDonald's. So, what about you, Mitch?
Yeah.
Oh, for me, mine. Do you have to follow this like exact structure? Because mine would be like, if you want an appetizer, sure, we could have like
Yeah,
some soup,
I'd say like one app, one first course, one main, one dessert to save us some time.
Yeah, I wouldn't really want. I wouldn't want to do it that way. I do want to do it just like maybe super salad at the beginning if you want like a clam chowder or something, a nice salad to start off. But then I would just do like obviously like a ribeye or fillet as your main, and then I would have all the rest sides. So like cauliflower bites or like mushrooms or even fries or whatever. Just have like 8 different sides, and then you can just kind of mix match your sides with the main meat or whatever. That's kind of what mine is. I guess it would be more like a picanhas or a steakhouse or whatever, where you just get like the main meats and then you just pick your own sides from like a bunch of choices. That's what I would do. But I mean, for
So
someone who
actually,
doesn't like,
not to, I'm purposely interrupting here because I actually think that you can. I mean, theoretically, you get to create the menu.
yeah,
You actually, I'm pretty sure they meet with the chefs to make sure like that they do it the way they
with a
want. So
reason.
this is like 100% curated. So if it's what you want, it's what you get.
Yeah, I would have just like 10 different sides that you can have, and then obviously 2 choices of meat. And that'd be amazing. That's all I need. But I like his dessert. It's pretty good menu. Then his dessert, Schefter's comes up to Schefter, warm chocolate chip skillet cookie with vanilla ice cream. It's like so basic. But I don't know. That was funny.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, okay. So here's where I was texting another individual who's made random 5 minute appearances on this podcast before, Chris Lee, and so he rips this menu apart. It's a very similar menu to what Scotty did the last time he won. A lot of people do double down if they're multiple winners. They don't change a whole lot, because it is. It's what your
I
favorite
and
foods
I
are.
was gonna say
Um,
honestly, I will say in Scotty and Bubba and anyone else's defense, anyone who complains about the menu, I'd be like, then just win and you can pick it. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't need any other arguments, right? Like you don't like it, then go win.
Yeah. And I do feel like there's been a recent trend of people to make it fancier and more eclectic than it usually is. But here's the thing about this menu, and I will stand by it. I don't think this menu is going to impress anybody, but 100% of the people leaving that room are going to leave satisfied. Cheeseburger sliders, delicious. Firecracker shrimp, delicious. Meatballs and raviolis, delicious. Chili with jalapenos and cheddar cheese, delicious. Ribeye, great. And Mitch's sleeper down there, the warm chocolate chip skillet cookie. Have you ever had one in the skillet? Holy hell, they're like the best thing in the entire world, even though it's just cookie dough and ice cream. For whatever reason, it's a perfect pairing. I think it's great. I personally would probably keep it somewhat eclectic. I've noticed everybody like John Rahm won, and it was all Spanish dishes. Scotty wins, and it's an ode to Texas. I mean, I would win, and I would think like the natural course of action would be like my family had an Italian restaurant, I have to go heavy Italian, right? I don't think I would necessarily. I think I'd hit like some appetizers. I freaking love sushi. I'll steal that from Hideki Matsuyama. We'll do a little assorted sushi tray, and then on the side, you know what? Screw it. Maybe some ceviche, maybe some freaking street tacos. Love me some street tacos. I think for my first course, I'd probably hit it with like a good blue cheese wedge salad. I love the blue cheese wedge. And then for mains, I think this is where it gets tricky. I love lamb, so I feel like we'd put like a rack of lamb, a osso buco on there. And then for like white fishes or something like that for other people that don't, I don't really know. I don't really care. I'm with Alex. You don't like it? I don't care. Um, and then for dessert, I'd probably hit it with like a tres leches cake, and maybe throw in like a brajol from like Italian food. I don't know. I think you can go anywhere with it. I think the main takeaway is like what Alex said is if you don't like it, win. And this is what I like. It's not about what you like. I think, some people do a menu to try to impress, and I don't think it needs to be about like impressing somebody. It's supposed to be about what you want and what you like because you won the freaking thing.
Yeah, and even if it's not like a sabotage thing where you're trying to sabotage, because like obviously I'm kind of joking with that, right? But like if it is like the day before the tournament, then like I want to eat something that's like part of my routine or something that I'm gonna like, so that I'm gonna feel good the next day when I'm playing, or even if it's 2 days away, right? Like I'm sure we've all been there where you like have some bad chicken or something and like you feel bad for a couple of days afterwards. You know what I mean? So I want to pick something I know I'm gonna like. I kind of make some jokes before, but as far as what my actual menu would be, for this, I would probably go like an international style menu, but like different nations. So like appetizer, give me some loaded nachos. Everyone loves loaded nachos. Hit me up with that. For my first course, chicken tetrazzini. That's what Gran used to make. It's my favorite dish of all time. I can never get it, ever. Most places have mushrooms in it. I don't like mushrooms. Well, most places don't have it. The ones that do have mushrooms in it. So I do that. And then for the main, I had to go like a chicken tikka masala because I like Indian food, and some people can't handle it. So it's kind of both. It's good for me, and it and it sabotages. And then for dessert, maybe just like a classic cheesecake because you can't go wrong with classic.
Yeah, I mean those are great. Those are great choices. I think that's like the beauty of it. Just whatever you want, throw it out there. I think it would be actually pretty funny. What if like, let's say Scotty wins again and people complain, or if like Tiger would ever win again? Wouldn't it be great just to do like an epic troll job? Like just a classic. Like what if you were like spaghetti and meatballs and you don't like serve any meatballs, or like the meatballs like just like chicken in a circle? Just something completely like for you, it's like, oh yeah, usually you're supposed to make it with mushrooms, but I said F mushrooms because I don't like them. I just think it'd be so great just to troll the hell out of this thing and like come up with something and call it something, but then, present something completely different, like a play on it. But,
Fair
but
enough.
yeah, I'm curious to see if anybody else ever had, whoever does listen, if what they think their menu would be. It's, and maybe you just want to submit like one item or something like that. I think that'd be kind of fun because it's one of my favorite traditions in all of sports. You win a Super Bowl, you go to the White House and you throw a parade and everybody gets drunk and you tear down a light pole. But there's not many sports that do something like this. Like this is like the one thing where, you guys were bagging on individual sports and how you're not really playing against anybody. You're kind of playing against the field and you're kind of doing yourself. But one of the beauties of that is you get to have some of these cool little tokens and rewards like this. Like this is a really, really cool thing that only happens in golf.
And it's got one guy's name on it. Oh, sorry. If we're going back to a sport thing, it's got one guy's name on it. It's very bougie, making dinner, making chores, and having a dinner before you go out and with all your opponents before going out and play. I don't know if it's that great.
I still think it'd be great to just straight up turn it into the red wedding, man. Just what's
That's
your
what I'm
allergens?
saying. Like, how do you
Throw out
trust other
just
people?
everything in there.
I'm legit Googling right now, like if anyone's like purposely not eating at the dinner. Like Jim Nance claims that some of the dinners he just skipped and had pizza. Like I'm reading about, I didn't even really know about these dinners to be honest with you till you sent me the article. So
Yeah, but like,
and then
but
like
for Jim Nance though, that like, I feel like that's easier for him, right? If he doesn't want to eat it, he can go eat after. If you're a player, because again, we don't know what day this is, but the way you pitched it was this was on a Wednesday and the tournament starts on a Thursday. So like, if this is the Wednesday dinner at like 7 o'clock or something, and you have to wait till like the dinner ends at like 9:30, 10, and then go eat and then wake up at 6 a.m. to play your round, like that's rough if you can't eat this food.
Also,
So
I'll also say it this way, Vinny. I'm thinking more along the lines of like before a game that mattered to me, whether it was, high school soccer, whatever, or even basketball, whatever, like it's like I made sure the meal I had the day before and the day of was like usually the same meal, the same liquids, the same everything. Like especially with a lot of these guys who might be force of habit, like this has got to mess with some kind of like force of routine and like this is a lot of mental games being played, I think, more than awesome. I don't know. Like, what is the Scotty served Scotty style? Is that like is that like is that like a shot at another player? Another player's gonna know what that means because he said it on the course, like trash talking. Like, you know what I mean? I've never heard of Scotty style, so like, I don't know. This feels like a lot more going on than you think's going on. Like, I don't know. If they had this dinner after he won, I'd be like, okay, whatever. That's kind of cool. But the before, it is interesting. I'll give you that.
but at the end of the day, look, if you win, you get to call the shots, right? That's how it works. All right, let's move on because we've talked
Wait,
about
before
golf.
we move on,
Go ahead,
before we
go
move
ahead.
on, and one last thing is since we talked too much about football, can we all just throw out one item that we think Adam Sparks would have on his Masters dinner?
Plain chicken
I
and buns separate.
Hamburger, cheeseburger, no cheese, ketchup only.
Both separated though in different little bags.
Alex, what you got? What's Adam throwing on his Masters dinner?
Probably like a Chipotle bowl with like avocado and just avocado and chicken and nothing else. Like just super plain.
And if he won this when he was 19 years old, he would just have like some S&S turkey deli meat just sitting there, just packages of turkey deli meat. Um, oh man, maybe some saltine crackers.
If anyone ever listens to this in the future, they're gonna be like, "Who are they talking about?" Anyway, moving, yeah, because like he hasn't been on the pod, right? We have a rest. I mean, anyway, yeah. So let's go back to the world of sports then. I have some sports questions for you guys. This is going to be a would you rather sports edition, okay? And the parameters going to change depending on how you guys answer. So the first one is, would you rather score the winning touchdown in the Super Bowl, hit the World Series winning home run, make a half-court shot to win the NBA championship? Of those three, which would you rather do?
Half-court shot, home run.
Can I just clarify one thing on
touchdown?
that? Is there 0 time on the clock when you do it, or is there still time on the clock? Is it the last play of the game?
So yeah, for all these scenarios, like it's it's the final play of the game in the basketball game, in the Super Bowl game, the home run. There's 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. And
Can you change it from like a half-court shot to like me beating some guy off the dribble with 2 guys' hands in my face, like the Steph Curry shot where he's got like Evan Fournier and like
hey Mitch, I need you to play the game.
Guys.
The parameters of the game are going to change based on what you pick. So
all right, okay, I picked the home run.
Okay, you picked the home run. Vinny?
Man, that's really tough. Every part of my body and being is saying that I want to pick the game-winning touchdown only because I think the Super Bowl is the most important event. I think, unfortunately, walk-off home runs in baseball to win a World Series, will live in infamy forever over any other sport. So I'm going to go with Mitch. I'm going to do walk-off home run.
Okay, so we both go with walk-off home run. So now we're going to change the parameters a little bit, okay? So for the Super Bowl winning touchdown, it is in overtime, and you had to break someone's ankles to make the play to get there. For the NBA game-winning shot, so Mitch, since you wanted it to be like this, we'll say you got an ISO and you had to go 1v1 with their best defender to hit that fadeaway J to win the game. Does that change anyone's answer? Or are you guys still on World Series winning home run?
I'm probably still on World Series home run.
Mitch?
Yeah, I think I gotta stay with the World Series home run.
Okay, Okay, so I'm gonna change it again. The World Series home run is the top of the ninth, and they still get to hit afterwards. So it's not the final play of the game. Does that change anything for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, then I'm going football.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna go basketball, but yeah, same thing.
Okay. So I'm gonna change the parameters again. So it's the top of the ninth in baseball. In the Super Bowl one, it's the final play of the game, but it's just a tush push, not a cool touchdown. And in basketball, you get fouled and have to hit a free throw.
Oh my God, those are terrible.
Yeah, so now they're terrible, but it's still winning the championship.
So I'm winning.
I'm going top of the ninth home run.
I'm winning a game at the free throw line.
At the free throw line.
I'm taking that.
I'm top of the ninth home run.
Okay, so Mitch, for yours, you hit the free throw, and then they still have a few seconds left to try to run a play, so it's not the final play of the game.
Heck no, I'm going. There wasn't even really. I mean, it should have been really picked last time around, but heck no. Now
so it's funny actually. When I first set this up, I kind of thought so. Everyone, I like asking fun questions like this in general. Like me and Brandon, for example, we do would you rather's all the time. The last few times I've done something like this, the person has always chosen Super Bowl. So my plan was to make it the World Series one change to a Grand Slam, but I didn't need to do that because you guys are all on that. Which, ironically, I would be on that too. There's just something about it. Like, it's funny, you say, like, it's America's pastime, but it's also the least interesting sport to watch most of the time. But man, like, that'd be something sweet. All right, I'm gonna move on to the next round of questions then. So, would you rather be posterized?
So wait 1 second before. Sorry, Alex. Are these going to be? I'm assuming they're all sports related. But while we're talking about walk-offs, I say this with complete bias. I understand, but the amount of times that I still see this on television, the kick six game is probably one of the most iconic game-winning plays in any sport, in any level of sports, period. So, like,
Wait,
I would like
what's
game-winning
his name?
walk-off grand
Freeman?
slam versus the kick
Freeman?
six. I don't know. That's really tough because the amount of times that I see the kick six, like on a Tuesday in March on ESPN, just like randomly, I'm like, what the hell? Like, why is this even on TV? But like,
The,
there it
the,
is, you
the
know?
thing about the kick six though is like that's not fair to compare because that has more than just one play insinuation and meaningful value. That's like the only thing I could come close to is like USC versus Texas. The reason that game was as big as it was, one, it's a great game, but that's because that was denying USC a three-peat. I feel like the kick six has a lot to do with Alabama more than Auburn. Are we talking about the play where is it Freeman or what's his name runs it out of the back of the end zone,
Chris
right?
Davis.
Davis, not Freeman, Davis. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so that's what I'm saying is I'm definitely love that game. I love every part of it. Big Auburn. We'll always root for Auburn because of you guys and Nolan and all that kind of stuff. But like, I feel like that game got value because of Alabama's history into that. Like, I don't think Alabama had lost for a couple years before that, and then they don't lose again for a couple years after
Well,
that.
it was two. It wasn't just Bama. Both Auburn and Alabama were both in the top 5 of the country during that game. It was two undefeated
Right.
teams. So like,
Yeah,
it
and
was a big
I think
deal.
Mitch has something to say there. I mean, on that same point, because like Bama's definitely the favorite, but what people don't realize is like a week or two before that, Auburn scored on the most ridiculous Hail Mary play ever, and nobody talks about
Dude,
that.
that was that
Um,
team was the team of destiny, and I still cannot believe we lost in the championship. It was literally like the Lord on high was helping us win games.
and ironically, this is nobody probably remembers this because what do we remember from that season? We remember the kick six. It's the most iconic play maybe in college football
Oh, it's not just the
history.
play; it's
They
the
remember the
call.
kick
I mean,
six.
Rod, the guy that did the play call,
It's
was.
the
Oh my
yeah.
God! Oh my God! There goes Davis!
Yeah.
There
Auburn's
goes
gonna win the
Davis!
football game.
Auburn's gonna win the football game! Like it was just, it was
Yeah.
perfect. It was perfect play. Call.
But nobody remembers the Hail Mary. And ironically, in a team of destiny, does anybody remember how Auburn lost the national championship game? I know Alex does. Mitch, do
I
you
was
know?
there, and I choose not to.
I think we were there. It was against Florida State. It was against Jameis Winston and what was the running back's
Yep.
name? The running back for Atlanta. Um, what was his name? The really good player. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was there. I remember. I was a little drunk, but I was there. I remember. I remember the bus. That was a lot of fun. I remember drinking in the parking lot, but the end of the
Yeah.
game might be a little blurry. I
So
remember
so
sitting.
Auburn had a significant lead. I want to say we were up, 10 to somewhere to like 13. I can't remember the exact like point total. I want to say it was like 28-15 or 28
What was the running
somewhere
back?
around there. Like I know we had a two touchdown lead with like minutes left in the game. So there's like 5 minutes left in the game. They run a kickoff return back for a touchdown. Auburn loses the football. Jameis Winston goes down the field and they score a touchdown with no time left. Arguably one of the best endings in a BCS championship game. There's like that. There's like Ohio State and Miami. Um, last play, game-winning drive, touchdown, and nobody talks about that in that season. People talk about the kick six. So like it's just a crazy year. But anyways, sorry Alex, I know we kind of took over your
The running back was
topic. It's
Devontae.
just
The running back was Devontae Freeman. All right, next question,
yes,
Alex.
yes, you're right.
All right.
Would you rather?
Would you rather? Sports edition. Okay, so I'm gonna reference some players in this. Would you rather? Assume for the sake of argument, all these players are in their prime. So like, don't think of them today. Think of them when they were in their prime. Okay. So, would you rather get posterized by Shaq, where he comes down on you,
No.
get sacked by Ray Lewis, get checked by Zdeno Chara? If you don't know who that is, Google him. He's 6'9". He's an absolute monster. Or get hit by a pitch from the unit himself, Randy Johnson.
Okay,
Oh
that's probably the
man,
last
those
one.
are brutal.
So getting dunked, like
Uh,
you're gonna be more specific with getting dunked on Shaq or getting checked by Zdeno Chara. Is this like open ice blue line? Am I getting pinned into the boards? Like,
is this like Timu or not Timu Solani, Paul Correa getting checked in the middle of the
Sure,
ice
sure.
type?
So for Shaq kind of comes down, like on top of your shoulders.
yeah.
Ray Lewis, it's a clean hit. You see it coming, but it's not a blind side. You see it coming. The check is going to be into the boards, and then the pitch, we'll say it hits you in the hip.
Okay, like
I'm getting sacked by Ray Lewis. I've taken big hits before. I can't imagine. I mean, I know he hits like a brick. That just sounds to me like the best of. I think if Randy Johnson pegs me in the ribs, I'm breaking a rib. Like so.
I think my best chance to avoid contact in all four of these situations is on the ice against Chara. So I think I'm gonna pick that one. The other ones is just Dunzo. There's just no point. Like I don't think people on like the Randy Johnson's last. That's last. It's not even close. Shaq and Ray Lewis, I feel like is just there's just no. I think I'm gonna take my chances with Chara, and I know how scary Chara is. I wouldn't want if you said fight Chara instead of take a check. That changed the whole. That changes everything. So as long
Okay,
as it's just one
so which
hit.
one are you guys taking? Like officially.
Which one was
I'm taking Ray Lewis. I'm taking Ray Lewis.
Zdeno Chara? As long as it's not a fight.
All right. Now Chara's hit. Let's change it to where the hit is open ice and he's got a full head of steam when he hits you. Ray Lewis is hitting you in the blind side, so you don't see it coming. Does that change anything?
Uh,
No, I'm not dealing with a Randy Johnson 100 mile per hour. This doesn't change much.
What
I'm
if Randy
still- I'm
hits
still
you,
taking
hits you in
Ray-
the thigh, Mitch? We'll change it to a thigh.
No,
I'll
not
take that.
kidding.
I'll take Randy Johnson.
Have you ever stepped in
Die.
a batter cage and gone over 85, 80? No, no chance. That's not happening. I quit
I'll take-
baseball at the age of
yeah.
13 because of this reason.
I would let Shaq posterize me. Like I'd take the poster, man. Like yeah,
The
that,
I mean, but
poster-
you said he fell on you, right?
yeah,
yeah,
his
vaults
weight
on you?
comes down on you, yes, but like
DeMarcus
Brutal. Like no.
Cousins is one of the biggest dudes I've seen ever, and his career ended on a Shaq dunk. Basically, he broke his back and was out for like 2 years, and he never came
let's
back
just-
the same person.
Let's kill the
Let's
guy.
also think about.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
also think about what
Allegedly.
Shaq.
He allegedly held the guy down while he got stabbed to death. Allegedly. No one gets sued.
DeMarcus Cousins is like 7 foot 6'10", huge, and he's like out for 2 years. It's just not happening.
Not to mention, let's just think of the realistic principles of getting dunked on by Shaq and where my head may or may not be in this whole process. So
Oh no.
that's like a triple negative on that. I will take a Randy Johnson fastball to the thigh.
No way,
Dude, you're
dude.
crazy. I'm with Mitch. I would take any of these before letting the unit hit me with a pitch. Anyone who's not a baseball guy, Randy Johnson throws real freaking hard. So
There's a good chance I'm knocked out with
that
the Chara
viral
hit.
video where you see the bird fly by and die in midair, that's Randy Johnson. So
Yeah, just dead in mid. Like, okay, so the Shaq thing, good chance I get knocked out. Chara, good chance I get knocked out. Ray Lewis, good chance I get knocked out. That Randy Johnson one's going to hurt for so long.
Bro, you might end those other three. You literally might just turn into Antonio Brown. You're like, okay, I'll deal with my like broken femur for a while you guys are sitting there pushing around your wheelchairs for the rest of your life, drooling
GPS
out the
away
side of
on-
your mouth. Like, come on.
all right, this next
Yeah,
one.
well-
This next one isn't so much a would. I mean, it is a would you rather, but it's also which one do you think is the biggest achievement. So it's going to be two different questions. The first is going to be which one do you think is the biggest achievement of these, and the next will be which one do you think you would rather personally have to your name. Okay, you guys ready?
Wait, so which one is
Yeah.
independently the better one, and which one I would rather have?
Yeah. So the first question is
Okay.
going to be which of these do you think is the biggest achievement?
Gotcha. Good.
Throwing a perfect game in baseball, there have been 24. Scoring 65 or more points in an NBA game, that's happened 27 times. Having a career passer rating above 92, only 26 players have done it. Or shoot a 59 or better in a golf tournament, only 30 players have done that. And yes, I included golf even though it's a sports trivia, but I wanted to get numbers that were close. So there you go. So perfect game, 65 or more points in a single NBA game, a career passer rating above 92, that's the only one that's career based, and then shoot a 59 or better in an official golf tournament, a professional golf tournament. All of these things have happened 30 or less times, so they're all in the same ballpark as far as how often they have happened.
What was the very first one? I don't know why I keep missing that
A
one.
perfect
Sorry.
game in baseball.
Is that like a little bit misleading though? Because even though they've happened under 30 times, Baseball's has a larger sample size of a lot more games attempted, right? So like
Yeah.
based off the games attempted to get the perfect game, I feel like statistically that has to be the answer, right?
Well, I mean, but okay.
I think
I'll also so just to give you some stats here. So the the NBA thing, it's only happened 27 times, right? Give me one
Yeah.
second.
Each team has 84 games a season.
15 of those 24 times were Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, jeez.
So there's a
I'm
lot less
sure how many of those
players,
are even real? I
and
don't know.
and a
Like,
couple of those are Kobe. So like there's a lot like the point is less individual players have done it is what I'm getting at.
good point.
I think
Uh,
I think
that's
I'm
interesting.
100% I'm 100% taking the career passer rating of 92 plus.
So I'm so happy you said that. And the reason is I kind of thought you were going to say that. Does this change your answer? You know who's in that category? Derek Carr. Career
Oh
passer
my
rating of
God.
92.8. He was
Yeah,
number
but who's throwing a
24.
perfect game? We probably don't know a lot of those guys,
So I
right?
will say this, like to Mitch's point, the amount of somebody pitches every night.
Yeah.
So there's 182 games a year. Someone starts
Times
that
30
game every
teams.
time. There's been 27 perfect games in the history. The problem with that is, can you tell me the last person who threw a perfect game?
Like,
Should have been Armando
the only
Galarraga back in the day, but the worst, probably the worst
Right.
call umpire call of all time. Which is another reason why perfect games are so hard to do, because like you rely on other
Right.
people to get their jobs right.
I have no clue who threw the last perfect game. But if you're telling me there's only like 25 players all time that have a 92 plus passer rating, at least I have a chance for the Hall of Fame. Derek Carr, sorry, you got to win to get there, but at least I have a chance for a perfect game.
Yeah, and also
65 against
I
pro
mean, for
and
a
athletes is
for
and
a
crazy.
and
for
the
a Hall
reason
of
I had to
Fame.
do career, by the way, if I did individual game perfect passer rating, so instead of doing like a career number like perfect passer rating over a specific game, there have been 81. So that's why I had to do career. But yeah, there's some real duds on this list. I'll be honest. Also, most of them are like within the last 15 years or so. So
The basketball one is impressive too. Oh, that's a tough question.
yeah, so
I'm probably good.
basketball, Wilt, Kobe, the most recent one in basketball is gonna be Luca from last year, I believe. Yeah, because Joel Embiid did it last year, and then 4 days later, Luca did it. Those are the most recent ones in the NBA. The most recent perfect game in Major League Baseball was 2 years ago. Domingo German.
Dang. No, yeah, I'm good on that one. If you have another one, another would you rather?
Well, so now my question would be: now that so Vinny, what are we saying that we thought was the biggest achievement? Like, what's final answer? So I'm saying perfect game. I think Vinny Useless said perfect game. Mitch, what did you
Yeah,
say?
perfect game.
No, no, no. I'm 92. I'm 92 plus
You're
on the
92
passer
plus.
rating.
Okay, you're not changing. Okay.
Not changing.
Perfect game, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think perfect game because, like I said, the fact that you have to rely on other people to do their job right. For those who don't know, Armando Galarraga had a perfect game going. For the final out of the game, the runner's out at first base by about a quarter mile. That's how far off the base the runner was when the ball got there, and the ump called him safe. Just the absolute worst call I have ever seen an umpire make. Um, if you ever believed games were rigged, that one was rigged against Colorado.
He had a parlay for sure.
Yeah, and then the 15 under better is interesting. I mean, I'm not a big golf guy, but I mean, when you consider how many people how many tournaments there have been, and how many people play in those tournaments, the fact that it's only happened 30 times is impressive. When you think of it that way, because that's another reason that the perfect game is so impressive. Because there are so many games in a year and so many seasons of baseball for it to only happen 24 times. But anyway, that's what I got. So now that you've told me what you think is the
Yeah.
biggest achievement, which of these would you personally rather achieve?
Uh, I mean, does that assume that I'm a starting quarterback in the NFL with a career passer rating of greater than 92?
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope.
That's pretty
Yeah, I guess to make this question work, to make this question
like,
work,
or am I
this
just,
one-
just like going out to the
or
local
did I
union?
have
Shit,
one
shit,
good
to make
firing
this
at
question
59.
work, we'll do single season passer rating over like 100 or something.
Because like a lot of people know who Carr is. Nobody knows who Diego Yarmon was or whatever. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, here's also the thing is like, football is the only one that I feel like you can't just go out there and find like a rec league to do it in. You know what I mean? Like, you can go play a local golf course right now and shoot a 59. You can
Well, no,
go
so hold on,
find like
just
an
for
adult
clarity.
league.
No, just for clarity, like that stat was you have to be in an official golf tournament. This isn't just like all time people shooting that score. It's like you have to be in. So like, this is assuming you guys could be a professional athlete. Which of these achievements would you want to have? This doesn't. You can't have anything else, any other accolades to your career, right? Like just because you've done one of these things doesn't mean you had a long, like if you score 65 points in the game, like sure, realistically it means you're probably a great player, like a Luka, like a Kobe, like a Wilt. But for the sake of this is your like one and done. You had that one magic moment. You were Jeremy Lin. You had Lin sanity going on for like a month where you just popped off, right? So
Yeah.
given that, would you rather be able? Which one of these would you personally have rather have on your resume doing in a professional setting?
I mean, I think my number one thing is I'm going to go completely selfish here. I'm not even going to go resume building. I'm going to go with the basketball one because everybody on that list signed a Supermax contract. Sign me up, baby.
That's
I'm
why
taking that Supermax contract
specifically said
to the bank.
That's why I specifically said you can't have any other accolades that you get to claim. Like you don't get to
All
be
right.
like,
Well, if it's one and done, I'm definitely going to choose the basketball because it's going to be the easiest to talk about at Thanksgivings and family get-togethers. Remember that time I dropped 65 in the garden against the Knicks or whatever? It's going to be way easier than explaining a perfect game and all your pitches and all that stuff, or how you approach the seventh green or whatever. You know, it's just not the same.
I mean, there is a guy that we did go to high school with a guy whose dad was nicknamed Mr. 59 because he's the first person ever to shoot 59 on the PGA Tour, and his name is like they literally call him Mr. 59. Now, that's pretty cool. I don't think me going out to a PGA tournament and shooting 59. Somebody just shot like a 60 or a 59 recently and didn't even win the golf tournament. So like shooting that one time doesn't even guarantee you win the golf tournament, which is like where the paycheck comes from. So MLB perfect game, basketball, and we change it to single season 92 or 100.
yeah, we'll bump it up a little higher, but we'll make it single
I
season.
might have to. I might stick with the basketball. Like I think that I might stick with that.
For me, give
You
me the
gotta
perfect
go.
game. That's too exclusive of a list to be on. I gotta go perfect game. All right, boys. Those are my three big would you rather's. Hope you guys enjoyed them.
But then we're on a list that Wilt Chamberlain hit like 14 times. Like, come on, dude. Like, you'd be like, yeah, you know who else can say that? Me.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, I can read them off if you guys want. So this is the list from highest to lowest. So obviously we'll start with a 100-point game. So Wilt, Kobe, Wilt, David Thompson, Luka Doncic, Wilt, Elgin Baylor, David Robinson, Donovan Mitchell, Damian Lillard, Wilt, Devin Booker, Joel Embiid, Jordan, Wilt, Pete Maravich, Wilt, Kobe.
Those are all goats. Those are like the best of the best. You're not putting your name in that for perfect games. You're not putting that as single season 100+ passer rating. You're not putting your name in that shooting a 59. You put your name on that list. There's no flukes. There's not a single fluke on that list. Like those are bona fide superstars.
Yeah, I mean, well,
I'm taking the basketball.
Let's read off
Easy answer
the
to me.
pictures. Hold on. Well, I mean, see, the problem with this is like these first two are from the 19th century. Lee Richmond and John Montgomery Ward. It's been a minute. And by the way, I should point out that they didn't play quite as long of a game back then. But yeah, and then obviously in the World Series era, which is 1903 to the present, we have Cy Young, Addie Joss, Charlie Robertson, Don Larson, Jim Bunning, Sandy Koufax, Catfish Hunter, Lynn Barker, Mike Witt, Tom Browning, Dennis Martinez, Kenny Rogers, David Wells, David Cohn, Randy Johnson, the unit himself, Mark Burley, Dallas Braden, Roy Halladay, Philip Humber, Matt Cain, Felix Hernandez, and Domingo German. So there's a few big names on that list. I don't know how they all ended up their careers, but yeah, you can definitely just have that one special moment for sure.
Yeah, it's yeah, easy for me, but no, I think those are all tough. That's a good little range of would you rather. So now should we do like would you rather drown or bird alive? Is that where this goes?
No, what?
I was
No, what? Bruh,
I was gonna I was
don't
gonna
get
go
us
with
canceled.
I was gonna go with would you rather be the star of a bad team or an average player on a championship contending team?
Okay, hold on. Say that one again.
Would you rather be the star of a bad team, like you're a really good player, but you're on a bad team your whole career, or would you rather just be an average player and be on a team that competes for a title often?
And it has to be that way your entire career.
Correct.
Do I ever win the title? Because I think that really plays into like,
Ah.
do I want to be an average player and a winner, or an absolute star and a loser? That's tough because it's a team game, right? Like,
I don't know what will change your answer. Let's start with no, you don't, or let's say you win one title. Yeah, let's say you win one title, or is it, you know what I mean? That might change your answer. So I don't know. Where do you want to start it out?
that's a
Let's
good
say you
point.
just start
Yeah,
out with one
started out with
title.
no chip. No, started out with no chip.
No, with no chip. Okay. So would you rather be an average player, no chip, but be on a contending team very often? Get to the Super Bowl or get to the finals, World Series, or whatever. Or would you rather be a star like Robinson Cano on the Mariners or something? You know what I mean? I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
like maybe
I think being a star would be pretty sweet, just because like you'll always be a hometown hero. You'll always be beloved in that city. Like no matter what happens, you know what I mean. Like they'll always pop for you. You know what I mean. You could be 70 and they run you out for like fan night or whatever because they have nothing else to run out there, and you still get the massive reaction from the fan base. So I think being a star, like the ramifications post career, is worthy of choosing the star route.
Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest that I don't. I'm gonna take the out that probably nobody will agree with, and I'll if this was like actual sports, I'd be like cash size for. At the end of the day, this is these people's job. Like I'm in a job to make as much money as humanly possible. I
so
am
you pick the
taking
star.
the star on a bad team, loading up contracts wherever I can. Like I know the competitive nature is going to get super frustrating, but dude, how many championships are going to add up to $1 billion? Like none.
Vinny,
Right. So this is
Like give me
Vinny's,
10.
this is where you
Vinny's
have to
mentally
change
prepared
the.
to
Go ahead.
play for the Bullets. That's all good. Vinny's mentally prepared to play for the Bullets his whole career, or the
Bro, I will
Wizards.
sign
The
up the
Wizards.
Washington Wizards. I'll play for the Washington Wizards, the Kansas City Royals,
The
the
Charlotte
Oakland Raiders.
Bobcats,
Like I
Charlotte
don't
Hornets.
care. Yeah,
Oh,
I'll
that team that
I'll
switched three times and didn't even know.
bro, bro. Dude, it's like you just basically just signed Derek Carr's entire career. Like just best player on the worst teams. Like he literally left Oakland or Las Vegas to go to New Orleans and somehow instantly made that program worse. Yet he's like their star. So um
What were you gonna
yeah,
say,
I'm
Alex?
going star route
Yeah, I was just gonna say
and
like
not for
so.
like I'm the hometown hero.
So we talked about potentially changing the parameters. I think in order to make this question
For
work,
sure.
you got to change the parameters to your career earnings are the same regardless. So let's say like the star is in a small market, whereas the average player is on the bankies. So just as a result, your
Oh,
career earnings end
okay.
up the same.
Yeah, that works. I'm gonna go. That would definitely switch me over to championships starting at. No, I would actually start at zero if that were the case. Because if I was making all that money and I like with the previous, I wouldn't even live in the city. Like I'm not even the hometown hero. I'm just over there
You're just
taking my check to
I
a
just think
bank.
that you're like one of all the pros they hate. Okay, what if I change the parameter to you obviously don't make as much as a star, but you're part of a dynasty. So you're like an average player on the Warriors or Kobe's Lakers or the Dodgers right now. Let's say, I mean, the Dodgers don't have average players. That's a bad example. What if you're like an average player on the Eagles isn't a dynasty, like the Chiefs or whatever. Like I'm sure there's a lot of guys on that Chiefs roster that have multiple championships that don't know their name. So I'm saying like let's change it to that. So you don't make as much as money as the star. Obviously, the star makes more, but you're on a dynasty as an average player.
So you're basically just like a Chiefs running back or a Chiefs wide receiver.
Yeah, or like you just one of the D linemen not named Chris Jones for the
You're
last 4 years.
You're Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, maybe a little bit better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I said average, not both. So yeah, what does that change your answer? Star still makes more money.
I assume you're asking Vinny because I haven't
Uh,
wavered from
Both
my
of you.
pick yet. Okay.
Either
uh,
one.
yeah, I'd stick with the championships. I'm good with that. Dynasties.
Alex, both scenarios, what would you pick? The first one was equal money, and the second one was unequal but dynasty.
I mean, unequal. I'm definitely taking the star because I was on the star to begin with, even when the money was equal. I still think I just want to be the star. Like I want to be the guy. Like I think
I
everyone
don't
wants to be
blame you.
the. Look, I got main character syndrome, right? There's a reason I introduce myself as the host and have a nickname, right? And I have to make up new nicknames for you guys every episode. I fully admit I have a bit of an ego. I don't think I have a big ego like in real life, but like when it comes to athletics, I don't think you can be a competitor if you don't have an ego. Like I don't none of the all-time greats like in any sport are out there just like super chill about it. You know what I mean? Like maybe a surfer that's an all-time great's chill, but like you've got to have that killer instinct and want to be the guy, right? Like I think you have to have that want to do it, and I don't think the average guy like gets there for me. I got to be the star.
Alex wants to be Gilbert Arenas.
I mean, the biggest charity thing that's ever happened in all sports is LeBron James just like propping Cleveland on his back. Like as much as I hate LeBron, like nobody wants to live in Cleveland, right? Like that can't be like somebody's like, oh yeah, dude, it's my dream to be like the star of a Cleveland sports team like forever and be like the Cleveland hero. Um,
If you grow up there,
so
Well, but like
oh,
like Ichiro, like he's beloved by Seattle, right? And he was an all-time great player playing for the Mariners, but like they never won. You know, they were
yeah,
pretty bad. You know what I mean?
Mike
I was
Trout
about to
and
say, you know, my
for the Angels.
yeah, but I mean that's not as good of an example just because like the Angels are well, they're not in LA, but like whatever you want to call them, California Angels, Anaheim Angels, Los Angeles Angels, Anaheim, LA Angels. Their name changes every 4 years, but like you know, it's a little different because there's not that community vibe in a city like LA, but there is in a lot of other places. So I was, because the example I gave was a small market versus the Bank East, just because like that's the only way we can make the funds even, right? But like if you're playing for like St. Louis, you know what I mean, or Milwaukee, like you're gonna be beloved every time you go anywhere. You're never gonna pay for another drink or meal again.
Yeah.
Kawhi could have lived free in Toronto for a while.
Yeah,
They gave him like a pass on everything. Yeah. Um, well, not
Instead, he
trying
just lives rent free in their head still.
heyo.
that was the only would you rather I could come up with in my head right now. I may come up with another one. Um, but with March Madness coming up, I had a little something that I had heard on one of the radio shows that I listen to in the background when I do my stuff. So if I told you guys, uh, you guys had to guess the average, the Oklahoma City Thunder are number one in the West, right? They have the number one record, best team in the West in the NBA. If I had to ask you guys, what is the average age of the Oklahoma City Thunder? What would you guess?
Oh, I know it's young. I actually think they're only like a year older than Auburn's basketball team, right? So I want to say they're like
Okay, that's the
23.8, 24.2, something like that.
I was gonna guess
that's exactly
24.
that's the exact stat I was going for. Auburn's basketball team is the same age as the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think it's a difference of like point 0.3 or something like that. One of them's 24.2 and the other one's like 23.8. But basically, they have the same average age as the number one team in the NBA. I was like, there's just
That's
no way
crazy.
that's, yeah, I was like, there's just no way that's true. There's just no way that's real life. Think about this. The number one team in the NBA against grown men, and then you go to Auburn and it's like one guy has two kids on the team. It's crazy.
I mean, it makes sense. Like if you here's the thing. Like if you watch Auburn play, like I don't think there's anybody there that's going to be a superstar or maybe even get drafted in the NBA. Like it'd be a tall order for someone on their current roster to make an NBA roster. Where like meanwhile you've got Cooper Flag and Duke is going to be the consensus number one pick to the point where he may go back to Duke just not to go to the Wizards. Like that's like literally the conversation that's being had. So
Well, that's the
yeah,
whole
it just
point.
goes to show like these like there is something to these programs that keep people around for 4 years or 5 years
Oh, it's gonna
and
change. That's the
build the
point.
team dynamic and things like that, So
No, this
it's
isn't
I
this
think
is
it goes to show like the one and done like Kentucky and Calipari, like he got a lot of credit and a lot of heat where it was like, oh well, you have all these 5 stars. It's like, yeah, but you have like 5 star freshmen every year and you're taking them to the Elite Eight or the Sweet 16 or the Final Four. Like that's really hard to do regardless of how talented your team is.
That
if
gives me
the NBA
another. Oh god.
if the NBA wants to have a close partnership with college and have it a displays case as a stepping stone, then this is going to change very fast. And Jay Billis was talking about it, that if he wants to run for head of NCAA and he would change it. You can't have 26-year-old men with kids going up to practice and like it's just you can't do that. The thing is with the NIL, it's changed everything with them staying. But at the same time, like the reason the article is like not just Auburn and OKC contradiction, but think about this stat as well. Um, Rutgers is going to have two of the top five, two, I repeat, two of the top five NBA draft picks coming in the lottery coming up, and they didn't even make the top 68 teams in the March Madness.
Oh, I couldn't
That's
even have
how,
told you that. I had no clue.
that's how far out before it's like if you had two top five players like Kentucky or Duke or whatever, like if you had two of these top five guys going to the draft, you were almost a shoe-in to win the NCAA tournament. That team didn't even get a bid with 68 other teams getting bids, and they're sending two. That's how crazy college basketball landscape has changed. You got teams that are older than top teams in the NBA, and you got two guys coming out of Rutgers that aren't even that are going to be drafted top, not even in the tournament. That's how different college basketball is now.
Okay, so two things I thought of then. So one, you gave me an idea for not a would you rather, but like what would you do in this scenario question? Who do you guys think is the worst run organization in football, and why is it the Cleveland Browns? No, but seriously, I think it's the Browns. Who do you guys think it is?
Um, if you go to, let me see, 2 seconds.
No, no, don't research off the top of your head. Like this isn't the real question. I just, for the sake of my question, I need to know what your answer is to this one.
I mean, yeah, I mean, the Dolphins have been pretty bad for a long time. The Bears have been pretty bad. I mean, Rex Grossman, Urlacher, and Briggs, I was fans of those guys. But other than that, the Bears haven't had anything.
Okay, so
So it's
you
gotta be
think the
one of
worst run
those.
organization in football is the Bears,
It could be the Dolphins.
or maybe the
Or
Panthers
the
actually?
Jags. Jags or Dolphins. That's my pick.
Vinny?
Two of the
Oh,
Florida
Vinny's
teams.
muted. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Real exclusive content.
Sorry. I'm back. I had to deal with
Who do you?
things outside of the pod room, so
Real quick,
I
top
just
of your
need a little
head.
refresher.
Top of your head. No
Yes.
research. What is the worst run organization in pro football?
In pro football,
Yeah.
uh, Carolina Panthers.
Okay, I was thinking that. Okay, we'll go with Panthers then. So, if you were a junior right now, projected to be the number one overall pick by the Carolina Panthers, would you consider staying in college for your senior season to avoid going to Carolina?
No,
Mitch?
probably not.
No, if I was going to be the number one overall pick, that's what you like aspire. That would be the greatest thing ever. There's no way I'd pass that up.
So you
That'd
do
be
you
so
Yeah,
do your
amazing.
5 years or so with them?
I mean, I feel like if I was a number one overall pick, I can make any team. I should be able to make any team relevant in 4 years, 5 years. If I choose to go somewhere else after, that's fine. But like, no, being the number one overall pick would be so amazing. Like, think how like that's talking about an exclusive elite club of 30 people or whatever. Like, there's only one a year forever.
Yeah, I'm the same. I agree. And it doesn't matter. Like, any, yes. Here's the thing. Like, you could sit here and say, okay, the Panthers are wasting Bryce Young. Dude, I don't know. The only thing I will say, I think I just ruined my own argument. Is like, I watched Bryce Young his rookie year, and like, dude, that was a Swiss cheese offensive line. Like, poor guy was getting hammered. Like, there's no way that you could be successful in that. I was like, at the end of the day, you could still, like, there's still advanced metrics that show that you're like throwing the ball on time, you're hitting your guys in stride, you're finding the open guy. Like you can get a contract somewhere else, but like Bryce Young might not ever get a contract after Carolina. So I don't know. I don't know. If I'm
It's hard for
quarterback, I
me.
would consider saying no.
It's
If the
hard for
rest
me
of
to
my
see.
team was that bad, like
Yeah.
Chicago, like built their program around Caleb Williams. They're giving him offensive players. They're giving him offensive line. They're giving him defense. Like Carolina literally got rid of any relevant person before they drafted Bryce Young, including their offensive line, and that's just a complete savage move.
And that's the organization you'd be going to. All right, my next thing is going to be a bit of a rant. So this is not, and I guess I'll ask a question after, but it's more of a rant. So first, it's time for a discussion because I've heard a lot of people complain about this. What are your guys' thoughts on the NIL and the transfer portal?
Yeah, so back to that same article that I read
Are
or
you not
whatever.
ranting? You're just asking a question?
First, I want to hear your thoughts, then I'm going to get my rant.
Okay, well, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I thought it was a setup for us to go. I forgot you was gonna say, but yeah, no, go back to that same article that was like about the two guys, the two top five picks Rutgers, the age of the team. The other thing in that one was UConn has four, I think it was four or five players that won back-to-back titles that didn't go to the NBA or hadn't gone to the NBA yet and used the portal. So think about that concept as well. You have guys on your team that won back-to-back championships and still used the portal eventually. The reason you would do that is because you're going to get money to be lured away to a different school. Like that never. Could you imagine Joakim Noah or whatever? Like someone winning two titles instead of like instead of coming back to Florida instead of this, I'm going to go to a different. I know it wasn't as big of a star as Joakim, but they lost four or five guys off that roster rather than just turning out next guys up. Maybe some younger guys come over. Those younger guys, after winning two titles, left for money elsewhere. Now, NIL is going to have massive changes coming up. That's why people were talking about Jay Billis and all that kind of stuff. Is like there has to be some kind of contingent rules. You can't have 26-year-old guys making $8 million playing college basketball in March Madness. Unless, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's the way they want to go with college, but I don't. It's going to change very soon. Promise.
Yeah, I don't think there
That's my
really
opinion.
is I'm not sure what the right answer is because, let's say you're a one-star athlete who goes to a D1 AA college or whatever, FCS or whatever they call it now. And you show out and you have like they give you like $10,000 at NIL. Like that person should have the opportunity theoretically to transfer or get paid more. And unfortunately, a small program's never going to do that for him. Like there's no reason if that system is in place that that dude shouldn't get paid for his work, right? That's the only area that I feel like they need to get creative in solving. Outside of that, you need to put a salary cap on it. You can only cap each sport at a certain amount. You can't have like one program throwing out $100 million a year and other programs throwing out 10, or one or two. It's always going to favor the big programs in the SEC. I hate the transfer portal. I think they should still have it, but there needs to be like rules in place, like whether it's you can't transfer within conference. Um, you can sign a new NIL deal, but you can't receive any of that money that year, or you have to sit a year out. You can't just like keep bouncing program from program to the highest bidder. I don't agree with that. But then again, that's the area where I'm like, listen, if you were a superstar on a terrible program that's not getting any notoriety and you're not getting paid, like I think you should have the opportunity to get paid if the system is in place and put your name on the map at a major university. So I don't love it, but I think that they deserve to get paid because and I didn't always think this, but there's just so much money in these sports now that they deserve something. I think maybe we've gotten carried away with it. They're making too much money, but you know, they do deserve something.
Alex?
Yeah, so here's the thing. I agree with you that people should get. Let me start at the beginning. College is big business. It always has been. It always will be. Anyone who didn't think that, I'm sorry, but you're fooling yourself. That's what it is. Ever since they were able to get TV deals and put sports on television eons ago, it became big business. Okay? Players have always been getting played. Now it's just out in the open. I have zero issue with NIL. Easy way to fix NIL: be smart about contracts that you offer. Make it real simple. If you leave, you have to pay the money back. Problem solved. So in the situation that you were talking about, Vinny, player gets 10K to go and play somewhere, but now he's getting offered, 500K to go to a bigger school that has more resources. Cool, he's got to pay that 10K back. No problem, because he just got 500K from a bigger school. The real issue is the transfer portal. For whatever reason, college sports went from you can never transfer ever until you graduate to, you know what, you can transfer every given week. Why they decided to open Pandora's box is insane to me. It would have been so easy to be like, make it like life insurance. Insurance is a scam too, right? So make it just like the scam. You can change when you have a life-changing event. You lose your job. You change jobs. You have a kid, whatever, life-changing event, you can change your life insurance. Well, or your health insurance, what have you. Same thing. If you get recruited by Coach Billy Bob to go and play for Tampa Bay, and then Coach Billy Bob gets fired, you can go somewhere else because the guy who recruited you left. Or you get hurt and you lose your starting job because you got hurt, you can transfer because you lost your job. Totally fine with that. But all these other reasons to transfer are just garbage. The thing that bothers me the most, though, is so many people talk about how I hate how athletes are played. I don't like it. I don't even want to watch anymore. And sorry, Dad, this is a shot at you. I love you. But Janai Broome is a transfer portal player. Auburn's best player. He is a transfer portal player. You cannot cheer for him out one side of your mouth while bashing the portal with the other. Pick a lane, all right? You either have to be anti or pro. Kind of like me with cheating. You guys know I am anti-cheating. If you're caught cheating, I think it should be a lifetime ban in sports. I don't care if you're on my team. I don't care if you're an all-time great. You cheat, get out. So that's how I feel about it. Does the portal suck? Yeah. But you can't tell me the portal sucks and then cheer for a transfer player. You either have to be anti-transfer players or pro portal. You can't be both.
Are you pro Tom Brady is the question that the fans are wondering right now.
I hate Tom Brady with a fiery passion of 1,000 suns. But that's because he's a
Do
cheater.
you hate the transfer portal and NIL or Tom Brady more?
Oh, Brady. Not a question. I don't like it takes away from my enjoyment of the game, but I don't hate it. Like I don't let stuff like that bother me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do think it's a broken system here's the thing is it got introduced, it's happened way too fast with zero regulation. So obviously there needed to be some. But I mean, dude, okay. I think anybody that is salty about transfer portals and NIL deals, I mean, yeah, look at what a Janiyah Broome AP National Player of the Year candidate it does for Auburn basketball. And this is just me, and not trying to be biased. This is zero bias here. I'm just saying, like, it's on TV. Auburn basketball is on TV every single time they play. Every single announcer talks about how packed it is in there, what a great environment it is. Anybody that followed the run that Cam Newton had when Cam Newton was at Auburn literally shifted that entire program around, where it brought back relevance to Auburn. It was crazy. The city was crazy. The businesses were crazy. The games were sold out. They're on TV all the time. And Cam made no money outside of the $250,000 that he was being accused of taking under the rug, right? That dude deserved way more than $250,000 for that season of college football. That's all I know.
I mean, I will say, like, I wouldn't really
we
call
got a
that
discount.
transfer portal player, though, right? He was a junior college transfer originally, and then he got like kicked out of Florida, right? Like, didn't they get rid of him?
Right, yeah.
So that's not quite the same scenario, but yeah.
But even financially speaking, like, you can't argue that these dudes make too much money. Like, when I understand, like, they're not there to go to college. Let's be honest. If you really want to regulate it, you need to start regulating how often they're going to class, what their grades are. You need to start somewhere else. If you truly think it's about they need to finish if they sign up, like they can't just like leave to go pro. So if you truly think that them going to college and getting a scholarship for a free tuition is about them actually getting a college
Some of them are
education.
already done with school.
Yeah, I'm just saying like they're there to play the sport that they're there to play. The college has absolutely nothing to do with it anymore.
Right.
It
What?
really
Wait,
doesn't.
Mitch, you're saying Russell Wilson never finished his masters?
Like no, but like Joe Burrow didn't even go to school for his like last 2 years. Like his last year at Ohio, and then when he transferred to LSU, he like didn't even go to school. He was already completed. I'm pretty sure I remember Leinart too. Leinart didn't even. I think he had one class or whatever that whole senior year. I think the problem is that the NCAA gives you 5 years of eligibility plus a redshirt year. So if you're willing to stay, it's not a big deal. You could already be done with school and you still have eligibility to play. That's because there's such old rules. That's the problem. Well, before it wasn't a problem because no one wants to stay that long. If you're good enough to go pro, you want to make money. Someone's not going to stay extra couple of years in college basketball after they've graduated or whatever because it's fun for them. There's nothing in it for them. But now with name, image, and likeness, there's no reason not to stay from 22, 23, 24, all those years when if you can't make it to the G League or to the pros, then you actually get some money, whether it's a minor's amount, for playing for it, especially in basketball when you only have 10 or 12 man rosters. The name, image, and likeness is what the issue is. Most of those guys, if you're 23, 24, and you've already graduated school and you might have a year or two left of college eligibility and you're already done with college, it wasn't a thing. You went off and you tried to get a job because you weren't good enough for the G League or the pros, so you had to do some other career. Well, these guys are coming back and playing, not even in school anymore. That's the crazy part is they never had an issue with guys playing that long with their using their 5 year eligibility plus a redshirt year. So if you redshirt at 18, 19, you could play all the way up to 24, 25, 26 even, redshirting your first year, 5 year eligibility. Just because people think college is 4 years, that has nothing with the NCAA eligibility. So it needs different rules. It needs changing. You need to have like a 4 year cap maximum, and like even including with the red shirt. Like a red shirt should help your transferring status or something like that. But like, it's insane what it's about now. Just because, hey, why would I go try and 23, 24, 25 go off? I could play a couple more years of basketball, get paid 10, 15, 20, $30,000. That's nothing. Of course you'd do that.
All right.
NCAA governed was a very corrupt governing body who has a lot of rules that were never attended to, or and it's just the way it is right now. It's like we have to, and the craziest part is the NCAA doesn't even investigate or follow up on any of this. It's Vegas. Vegas is the one who's financially invested everything into, the fairness of these colleges, how much the boosters are paying, what they think. It's because they're the ones getting all the information and understanding and all that, and they're the ones policing it because they want fair, practical betting. They don't want to get shut down by gaming commissions, all this BS. It's not NCAA doesn't do anything. NCAA doesn't do anything but get in its own way.
All right. Well, those are my
Yeah,
questions
I
for
agree with
today,
basically
gentlemen.
everything Mitch said.
Yeah. No, NCAA just kind of feels like they're making stuff up as they go along, and they're not
They
always
do.
getting it right. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I will never understand the decision to go from you can never transfer ever to you can transfer anytime. It would have been so easy to slowly open a transfer portal, slowly see what doesn't work, because then you can make tweaks, but you can't open the floodgates and then try to close them again. It just doesn't work. You can't open Pandora's box and then close it. It's too late. So yeah, now they got all these issues. But yeah, my biggest thing is just like, especially here in the South, I hear so many people complain about the transfer portal and specifically NIL, and yet they then the very next day talk about how excited they are for some new transfer that they just signed. And it's like you can't do both, right? Like you can be like, hey, I wish they didn't have it, but I'm gonna embrace it because it's here, right? Or you can say, no, I just hate it and I'm against it, period. But you can't be like, oh, I hate it so much other than when it benefits me. You know what I mean? That's my 2 cents. But that's all I got for today. We're kind of getting a little long in the episode here. Any final thoughts or things you guys want to talk about, gents?
No.
No, I'm just wondering what if they're ever going to tell us what Scotty style cheeseburger sliders is.
Yeah, what
I'm
is
dying to
Scotty's
know.
style?
What is Scotty style?
It's
Scotty,
not.
you got to tell us. I know.
That's
I know
gotta
you're gonna
be.
listen to this one day.
Don't correct me. Don't they golf in pairs, right? And like these major at the Masters, right? You golf with one other person, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be something he said to someone he was paired up with one of those times. You know, that was Scotty style. You know what I mean? Like that's got to be something the other golfers know. Like maybe it has to do with
There
the
is no way
clubs.
he's just out on the golf course hitting the green, looking at his playing partner, going, "That was Scotty style." That would be
I
the
bet
Dude,
you there's
lamest
a
that'd
thing.
be next level
come,
annoying. It'd be even better. I don't
dude.
know. He
That's
doesn't
you
he
put
doesn't
God,
come
he
off as like the coolest dude ever. Honestly, maybe he just had like a really weird order and the chef like I don't know what to call this. I'm just gonna call it Scotty style, right? Like maybe he's like, yeah, I want sliders, but instead of cheese, can I get a slice of tofu? And instead of lettuce, I would like to substitute that with broccoli, like just like a weird slider. And the chef's like, I'm just gonna call this Scotty style instead of listing all these weird ingredients.
Okay, last thing. What do you think one ingredient is on the Scotty style? Each person gets one choice. I'm gonna say it's like sautéed onions and peppers. Mitch, what do you think Scotty style is?
uh, I'm trying to think of something golf related. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think he's so white bread that it's gonna be mayonnaise. Just mayonnaise. No ketchup,
I think
mustard, just mayonnaise
Just
sliders.
Scotty style is gonna be like a lot of lettuce, and it's gonna be like a pun on like his shot of hitting out of the rough or something like that. He's gonna turn to one of the other golfers and be like, "Eh, you know what I'm talking about last year? Eh,
Where
it's got to
where
be something like
where is he from? Hold on,
that."
this might help. Where is he from?
New Jersey, I
he's
think.
from
When I looked it
Texas.
up.
Texas. He's
Oh,
from
I thought I
Texas.
looked it up. My bad.
No,
Okay,
like
from
Dallas
Texas.
area.
Well, then maybe some barbecue sauce.
Maybe like
Yeah,
brisket or something. No, I would say that.
I was gonna say
Say
like
that.
fried green tomatoes if he was southern, but
yeah. I was gonna say like
What if
fried
it's
onion rings or
Yeah,
something.
what if it was just like a jab at like Mitch said, it's just a jab, like it's like
That's my. That's
call
got
it
it.
like
That's my.
what if they
I'm
called it
convinced it
like
is.
they called it like Rory style and it had like sheep's wool on it, like to make fun of like the Irish, or it was like covered in like Guinness to make fun of the Irish or something.
Watch, once that
I don't know what
cheeseburger
you would
comes
do,
out,
but
it's gonna have some funny ingredient that's gonna be a play on words, and it's gonna be about something I know. Yeah, it's definitely a jab. There's no way it would just say cheeseburger style with like all the rest say like sweet Thai chili, sriracha mayo. It completely describes it. There's no reason they just leave that out and put Scotty
do you think
style.
you think he just walks into like Five Guys like, come on, bro, you know how I like
Scotty
it, Scotty
style.
style, and they're like, come on, dude, what do we put on that? Like,
But the
what
rest
is
of the
this?
menu is very agitated. You know, it has many adjectives and it describes it very well done. It looks like I'm in the service industry. It looks like a lot of very well done menus and like Scotty style. Do you know how many people would ask the server, "Excuse me, what is Scotty style?" Like they would just put it out. They wouldn't call it that. It's got to be a jab. I promise you, this is
Yeah.
a jab.
And the last thing I'm gonna say about this, I think the biggest flex on that menu, actually, now that I think about it, is like Homeboy just straight up is like, dude, I can have anything I want like in the world, and I'm gonna straight up get Papa Chef's meatballs. Like, ain't nobody do it like Papa Chef. Whoever. What if he was Papa Chef? What if like Scotty Style and Papa Chef are like the same thing? He's just calling himself Papa Chef. There's a lot of question marks here that I can't wait to answer.
I think it is a chef, Scheffler, Papa Chef, Scheffler. I don't know.
Yeah, is it
Yeah.
him? Is it his dad? Is it his grandfather? Like I called my grandfather Papa, so like um I can't imagine Papa Scheffler's is slinging some high-end meatballs. I'm just gonna go out there and say it.
I
Sorry,
can
Papa
imagine
Chef.
playing in a highly intensive competitive environment against my opponents, and I'm making a menu for my opponents, like, and not having some kind of competitive jab or edge involved. There's just no way that there's not something of that in this menu. Oh, it's just my food, guys. Yeah, okay, buddy, sure. Scotty style. Get out of here.
All right.
You know he's gonna turn to one of his golfing buddies this upcoming Masters and be like, "How's that Scotty style?"
Maybe this turns into the joke though. Like maybe from now on when he's slamming a PB&J like on the course, he's like, "Bro, I got that PB&J Scotty style," as he just
That's
like shoveled it.
100%.
all right, boys and girls,
Um,
that's it. Go ahead and say goodbye to all the viewers. We're going along, and now we're just kind of rambling about food. So I'm getting hungry. Go ahead and sign us off here.
I'm gonna go to In and
All
Out and
right.
get Scotty style.
Oh, why you gotta do
We're gonna
that to me?
switch it
You know I
up.
can't get in and out here, Mitch.
We're gonna switch it
Not
up.
cool.
Mitch can say bye to all the boys. I'm gonna say bye to all the ladies. See you, ladies. All those fantastic listeners out there. Hope you enjoy your burger Scotty style.
Yeah, now I wish I had a burger and I can't get in and out, so not cool, Mitch. By the way, going to be on a little hiatus. There won't be a podcast episode for the next couple of weeks because I will be out of the country. But when I get back, we will get back at it. See you guys next time. Peace out.
See
Peace.
ya.